In our Sunrise Smart Start this morning, a man found dead behind an abandoned house in Rochester on March 30th has been identified.
Police say 41-year-old Julius Haygood was murdered, but how he was killed has not yet been released. The body was found on Ames Street in the city. No suspects have been announced at this time. 4 more victims have now come forward in the rape case involving 2 men at a Rochester convenience store. James Hampton and Shaddad Al-Ghathi are accused of locking a teenage girl inside a store on Central Park last month and raping her. Now 4 more victims have stepped forward with allegations against Al-Ghathi. Both men have been charged with rape against a minor and indicted. They are set to be arraigned coming up on Monday. After weeks of contentious buildup, the man convicted of killing 2 New York City police officers decades ago spoke virtually to students at SUNY Brockport last night. Activists and community members on both sides voicing their opinions on Jalil Muntakim's speaking engagement yesterday. Many gathering on SUNY Brockport's campus across the road from one another.
Jalil served his time as the law requires. He was granted probation as the law allows. And we think he's trying to move on with his life and do what he can to be a productive member of society.
I don't think he was a political prisoner. I think he was a cop killer. And I can't stand for that.
Being a former Black Panther, I just feel like we're witnessing history. And I feel like that's being violated. The whole free speech is being violated.
Though the buildup was confrontational, no major incidents occurred. Once the speech began, our crews found a group of students listening to Muntakim talk about the history of racism and how it relates to the criminal justice system.
The criminal injustice system operates for the purpose of keeping Black, brown, and indigenous people in prison.
Originally, Muntakim was going to be paid for his time through a grant, but that was ultimately rescinded. An anonymous donor stepped in to pay the speaking fee. Evening classes at SUNY Brockport were canceled in anticipation of the event.
A Brighton police report obtained by News 8 through the Freedom of Information Act reveals the high school girl responsible for writing a racist message at Our Lady of Mercy school said it was not meant to target any one group or person.
Instead, the student reportedly told police she hoped it would highlight concerns about racism within the school. The graffiti discovered in a bathroom stall in March used the N-word and told students to get out and prompted them to protest. Several days later, school officials announced the student had confessed, but no charges were filed. The investigation also led to the discovery of an anti-Semitic phrase written in another bathroom. Mercy maintains they have zero tolerance for discrimination, harassment, or prejudice of any kind. Back in January of 2021, a Black Hawk helicopter crash claimed the lives of 3 soldiers here in our region. Since then, 4 additional Black Hawk crashes have taken place in the United States and overseas. Most recently, a Black Hawk went down last week in Georgia. The Army is claiming it's not an accident and it is under criminal investigation. The crash here in Mendon in January was eventually reported by the Army to be a procedural error. Shortly after that incident, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand called to the ground all Black Hawks, claiming the aircraft needs to be investigated. News 8 asked Gillibrand about the latest crashes and if she's renewing calls to ground the helicopters.
I am calling for an investigation so that we can get to the bottom of what happened in these instances. It's deeply concerning, and we've lost several New Yorkers, and it's deeply, deeply disturbing. And so we need to have a fuller investigation with some oversight and accountability.
The 3 men who died in the Mendon crash back in January were Chief Warrant Officer Stephen Skoda, Christian Koch, and Daniel Pryl.
News from around the state this morning. New details about that deadly multi-car crash on the thruway near Albany. Police say 53-year-old LaRousse DeRosiers of Boston was driving a tractor-trailer for Amazon and was unable to avoid traffic, striking 5 cars. 2 people died as a result of the crash. 4 others were injured. Police say DeRosiers showed no signs of impairment and no charges have been filed.
In Albany, it was another day without a finalized state budget. The budget was originally due last Friday, April 1st. While hot topic issues like bail reform and a new Bill Stadium are still in negotiation, a source close to negotiations says alcohol to go is close to being agreed upon. It would pass as a 3-year authorization with the purchase of food, and restaurants will not be able to sell full bottles of alcohol to customers.
James Gilbert with us. One of those mornings where you got to kind of take a deeper dive into the checklist. Don't forget anything as you head out the door.
Right, yeah. The last thing you want is to be caught unprepared, as we are significantly different. If you based your dress on what it's been like the past couple days, you'd be off. We've got a rain jacket weather today, umbrella weather today as well. If you're splashing around or you have a little bit of a walk to go, maybe even the rain boots might be a right call for you today. We've got rain showers likely lasting not only through this morning, but through the afternoon as well. Maybe the good part about this is not that cold. Temperatures right around the normal high of 52 degrees. We'll have a peek at the weekend forecast coming up in a bit.
James, thank you. Another check of the roads now with our sunrise traffic. Let's focus on the big arteries here. The thruway, no issues to speak of at this hour. 390, 490, and 590 up to speed as well. To Washington, the Senate is expected to confirm Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson this afternoon, securing her place as the first black woman on the high court.
Jesse Tenor reports from D.C.
It will be a joyous day.
Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson is poised to make history today when the Senate likely votes to confirm her as Justice Jackson.
Thank my Senate colleagues for working together to advance and finalize this historic nomination.
3 Republican senators have said they will join Democratic leader Chuck Schumer and his colleagues in supporting Jackson, who would replace Justice Stephen Breyer when he retires this summer. Throughout her confirmation hearings, Jackson recognized the significance of her nomination.
Standing on the shoulders of generations of Americans who never had anything close to this kind of opportunity.
But many Republicans, including Texas Senator Ted Cruz, still criticize Jackson as too liberal and soft on crime.
Judge Jackson, if she is confirmed, will be the single most liberal Supreme Court justice ever.
With Jackson's confirmation all but certain, Democrats, including Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal, are now working on legislation that would force justices to follow certain ethics standards, like recusal requirements.
The Supreme Court shouldn't be given some special pass.
This comes amid revelations that the wife of Justice Clarence Thomas called for action to overturn the 2020 election in the days before January 6th. And Thomas later became the lone dissenter in the court's decision to allow access to Trump administration records surrounding the Capitol attack.
The issue here is much bigger and broader than one justice.
The Supreme Court justices are currently the only judges in the federal judiciary who are not subject to a code of ethics. In Washington, I'm Jesse Tenor.
Jesse, thank you. And if confirmed, Jackson will become the first black woman to sit on the Supreme Court.
We've got some national news this morning as well. An update on Sunday's mass shooting in Sacramento, California. Police say a gunfight between rival gangs there breaking out, killing 6 people, injuring 12 others. Officials have identified at least 5 potential shooters, though only 3 are in custody on gun charges.
No charges were filed in the fatal no-knock warrant killing of Amir Locke in February. 22-year-old Locke was staying at a cousin's in Minneapolis when police entered without knocking as part of a homicide investigation. Prosecutors say body camera video showed that Locke, who is black, pointed a gun at Officer Mark Hainman, justifying use of deadly force. Hainman said in a statement that had he not used deadly force, he likely would have been killed. Locke was not named in the warrant.
2 advisors to former President Donald Trump held in contempt by the House of Representatives. Peter Navarro and Dan Scavino have refused to comply for a month now to subpoenas that were issued by the January 6th committee. The nearly party line vote will send criminal referrals to the Justice Department for possible prosecution.
And Buffalo Bills signing star wide receiver Stephon Diggs to a major extension.
4 years, reportedly $100 million with $70 million guaranteed. That guaranteed money second only to receiver Tyreek Hill of the Dolphins. So big money for Diggs. The extension will keep him under contract in Buffalo through 2027. And here's what some folks will be talking about at the water cooler this morning. It's opening day in Major League Baseball. Not technically a holiday, but for many it may feel like one. Major League Baseball returning with 7 games on the slate, though 2 games, including the Red Sox and Yankees, already postponed due to inclement weather. If you are wondering, the LA Dodgers currently have the best odds of winning the World Series, according to Caesars Sportsbook. And of course, sticking with the sports theme here, the Masters teeing off in Augusta, Georgia this morning as well, though. We should note that there's a weather issue there as we bring in James Gilbert.
Yeah.
They're going to push back the tee times a little bit because of storms there earlier this morning.
It's the same system. Same system that's bringing us rain is bringing them storms. That's usually what happens. We just don't get the kind of instability that they get. So they get the thunderstorms, we just get the rain out of it, and it's a wet plus stop forecast here as we've got rain showers not only this morning but as this afternoon as well. Temperatures right around 50. They could be in the upper 40s and low 50s, but generally around that mark throughout the day. Sunrise already happened, 6:42 this morning. 8-day forecast, we dropped numbers a bit for Friday. A few passing rain showers, and then even Saturday could feature some rain showers, but note the overnight lows in the mid-30s, maybe even a wintry mix possible early. We're cold through Sunday, and then let's look forward to next week. Some big warmth on its way.
All right, James, thank you, and thanks so much for watching News 8 at Sunrise.
Our next update coming up in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings is up next. Have a great day.